Utpal Parikar, the son of former Union Minister and former Chief Minister of Goa, Manohar Parikar, has quit the BJP. This after the BJP denied him a ticket from Panaji, his father's constituency. And Utpal Parikar has said that time has come for him to take a stand for my values. He also hit out at the BJP for giving the ticket to Babush Montserrat, his father's longtime rival, who opportunistically switched from the Congress to the BJP 2 years ago. Let's just listen into what he said.
That on March 17th, after he passed away, that was the end of that path. Not surprised. Our state president was telling all the Goans about this almost for last 30 days, and finally it has happened. So I am not surprised at what has happened.
Contesting as an independent candidate from Panji constituency.
All right, so that is what Utpal Parikar said earlier when the first list of the BJPs had been announced and his name did not feature on the list. At the time, there was a lot of buzz. The BJP on their part said that they had offered him 2 alternative seats as well. But Utpal Parikar at that time had told the media that I will give my decision soon. And we do believe that there was a lot of pressure on him to accept one of the 2 other alternatives. Also, he was promised something within the party as well. Well, let's go across to Sanket for more. And Sanket, so yes, tell us more about that. A lot of pressure had been put on him. The BJP was aware of his unhappiness and how much he wanted his father's seat, but they did think they could, manage it and say that and talk about his loyalty to the BJP and offer an alternative seat and also the promise of something, a bigger national role.
Absolutely. In fact, all these things were a subject matter of great discourse. This has been going on between the central leadership of the BJP and the emissary was Devendra Fadnavis, constantly in conversation with Utpal Parikar, trying to tell him that don't worry if Panjim does not go to you. They actually gave him 2 more options. He declined outright. He said, no, it has to be a legacy seat. He was also given the offer of staying with the BJP, and even if he loses from any other seat, he will be given a prominent position in the organization, perhaps called to the central leadership. And then he was promised a much bigger and better launch in 2027. It seems all these assurances have not really worked with Utpal Parikar, where he has now decided that enough is enough. And he says that he will stand for his father's values. It's a big embarrassment for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Gargi, because remember, Manohar Parikar is one of the the foundation pillars or the founding pillars of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Very tall leader from Goa, the former defense minister. His son leaving the party will definitely be an embarrassment. Whether it is going to mean, in terms of seats, an embarrassment, I do not know. I don't know about his political prowess just yet. Because in the BJP's calculation, he would have clearly lost. That's why he has not got the ticket or the seat. But the fact that Manohar Parikar's son has left is as embarrassing for the Bharatiya Janata Party as Aparna Yadav leaving Mulayam Singh Yadav's party and joining the BJP. So it's optics as of this moment. The big question will be, Gargi, where does Mr. Utpal Parikar go next? Does he go to the Aam Aadmi Party, or does he contest as an independent supported by all the others?
Right, he has indicated that he would be an independent, but yes, a huge embarrassment, and we're waiting to see, how what the BJP says in response to this. Let's go across to Saurabh also now for more. And Saurabh, what also must have hurt him was that his father's longtime rival, somebody that he'd fought, being from the BJP, he'd fought against, who was in the Congress, a tainted leader, Babush Montserrat, being given his father's ticket, the constituency ticket. Also, we'll have to wait and see what, other parties in Goa do now, because there had been various statements made that if, he were to contest, then other parties may not put up candidates in Panaji. All that remains to be seen.
Well, right, let me come straight to the last point that you were making. Now, the Shiv Sena had said that they would not put up a candidate and they would appeal to other parties to not put up a candidate if he contests as an independent. Utpal Parikar has indicated he's contesting as an independent, but the Shiv Sena has already declared a candidate in Panjim. Whether they roll that back is something that now we will have to wait and watch. So obviously Sanjay Raut had made that comment where he said that, we should all come together, not put up a candidate if he chooses to fight as an independent. Coming back to Utpal Parikar, and who is he, how much political clout does he have? Well, the fact is that here is a person who hasn't contested an election till now, but in the sense that he wants to contest an election from his father's seat. He says he's been working at this for months, and he says the ticket has gone to an opportunistic turncoat from the Congress who defected to the BJP and is a sitting MLA in this constituency. This is a constituency that the last time around, when Manohar Parikar came back from Delhi to Goa and took charge as Chief Minister, fought from and won. Now, apart from that, Utpal Parikar says that, there was a barb thrown at him by Devendra Fadnavis saying that nobody gets anything on a platter just because you're someone's son, you won't get a ticket. To that, Utpal Parikar replied, he says he agrees with Fadnavis. He doesn't get anything on a platter. He's choosing to fight, and people will decide his fate. Apart from that, Utpal Parikar says that this is not about negotiating with his party for a seat that he wants to fight. He very clearly outlines that in this press conference that he held, that this is a battle of values, the values that Manohar Parikar stood for. Now, what is that value that Manohar Parikar stood for, and why was he so popular in Goa? The fact is that Manohar Parikar, in spite of being from the BJP with a strong RSS background, was someone who built a very, very inclusive coalition in Goa, where people actually voted looking at Manohar Parikar, and over the last so many years has cultivated and sown the seeds of the BJP in Goa. That is the kind of political legacy that Manohar Parikar has. Utpal Parikar said he wanted to carry that forward, and he has been working in the constituency for the last few years to sort of project himself as a candidate from that seat. Now, that has been denied, and he indicates that he's going to fight as an independent. He also has an invite or an offer from the Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal, inviting him to fight from the Panjim seat and saying that if he joins the Aam Aadmi Party, then the Aam Aadmi Party candidate will step aside. So this is where it is as far as Utpal Parikar is concerned. When asked, most importantly, is he quitting the BJP? He says that's a technicality.
All right. So embarrassment for the BJP. Utpal Parikar announcing that he is going to fight from his father's seat, Panaji, as an independent candidate. Thanks so much, Saurabh, for joining us with those details.